I know, but 15 minutes seconds. Welcome to the Antonio Parkinson Project. Today we're celebrating and talking about the life and legacy of Pastor Ricky D. Floyd. And we're going to have different guests come on and talk about, their relationship with him and their experiences with him. As many of you know, we lost Pastor Ricky Floyd a few days ago to, a tragic, gun incident. And so we're going to come back and we're going to celebrate his life and talk about his legacy. So don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project. Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. I am Antonio Parkinson. You're watching the fastest growing visual podcast in the Memphis market. I guess we'll clap for that today, right? Just a little,
that's why we clap.
We need to clap for something. We're, it's a bit, we're a bit heavy today. It's a bit somber, to be having this show. But before we get into the show, let me introduce my co-host. That's my lovely co-host, Angelica Jelly Woods, in the building. Give it up for.
Can we clap for that?
Yeah, we'll clap for that.
All right.
We'll clap for that. Yep. And y'all give it up for my DJ. That's my DJ Kojak in the building. Yeah, we're gonna clap today.
He don't get no scratches today. He don't get nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kojak.
So y'all listen. Of course, as many people know, we lost one of the most prolific and important people to the Memphis community in our lifetime, in Pastor Ricky D. Floyd. And Josh, run that video real quick.
This evening, the loss of a man who did so much good for this city. He worked tirelessly to put an end to violence in Memphis. Good evening, I'm Joyce Peterson.
And I'm Joy Redmond. Pastor Ricky Floyd was shot and killed early this morning outside Mama's Bar, which is just south of downtown. A woman now behind bars charged in his death.
Action News 5's Griffin Deveray bringing this story for us tonight. He is live. And Griffin, walk us through what happened here, please.
Yeah, guys, police say that everything started around 1:15 a.m. That is when Pastor Floyd got into an altercation after the bar closed right outside Mama's, right here behind me on South Kentucky Street. That is when the woman who shot him actually called 911. Now, police say that they arrived and arrested 42-year-old Samantha Marion, who was being charged with voluntary manslaughter. According to the affidavit, surveillance footage showed Floyd throwing Marion's phone to the ground and then proceeding to throw a beer can as well. Floyd then got to his car, started to drive away. That is when he got out walking towards Marion when she shot him. The pastor, well known throughout the community as an advocate for safety. He had a close relationship with Shelby County Commissioner Charlie Caswell, who talked about how much the pastor meant to him.
I wouldn't be the man that I am, because I was that young boy. One of them, he saved 20-some years ago, that was headed down the wrong road, but Floyd saw something in me that he saw in so many of these young men. This is going to be hard.
All right. Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with. Our hearts are heavy. For some of us, he was, family. He has a wife, Sheila Floyd. He has children. Brennan, Lil Ricky, Christina, and grandchild Amira, and he got 3 other grands. And unfortunately, I don't kill me, Brennan, and y'all don't kill me for not knowing the other babies' names. But then there was us, right? The friends of Pastor Ricky D. Floyd, and then there was the Pursuit of God Church and the Fraser community and the Memphis community as a whole. Y'all welcome our guest, Charlie Caswell, to the show.
I tell you, he right on time. Right, I might say right on time.
Like the Lord.
Right
Tell
on
the Lord.
time. I
Tell
promise.
the Lord, thank you.
On time, God.
Yeah. And so Charlie, our commissioner Caswell, but we're just gonna be in our regular names tonight. Talking about the importance and the legacy of Pastor Ricky Floyd and all that he has done for our community. What was your relationship with Pastor Ricky Floyd?
Man, I say this, State Rep, 23 years ago, it was Pastor Ricky Floyd that pulled into me as that young boy who was transitioning, growing up in the Dixon Home Projects, and just finding myself in life. It was Pastor Floyd that really saw something in me as that young person. And he became all of those things. When you talk about the person of who I was with the high adverse childhood experiences and trauma I had, talked me off so many of those ledges that we looked to jump off. So he was a friend, brother, a spiritual father, all of those things. And then when he launched me out as senior pastor, and when I was at Union Grove, that person because when you're a pastor, and I know other pastors here, that you don't have that many people you can just talk to.
Yeah.
He was that person that I can go to on anything and basically keep breathing when you want to feel like you lost your breath. And that's who Pastor Floyd was for me.
Yeah. He did a lot, man. And I think one of the things that people remember is how he mentored young boys through his creation, the Husband Institute.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we got a little video. Josh, run that video.
In our society right now, most of the crime that's being perpetuated by our young men. And the reason that that's happening is we serve a generation of fatherless men where there's no father, there's no prophet that's speaking, that's preparing them, that's encouraging them. I like to say it this way. A man's job is to give affection, protection, direction, correction, and to prepare a young man to leave a collection for his children's children. So the anger that you're seeing in our young boys is because nobody has prepared them, but everybody wants to punish them.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
Was when Pastor Ricky Floyd was here on the show.
That was my first time meeting him ever.
Yeah.
Yes, he's awesome. Man.
Yeah. That was incredibly powerful. But that was, in our time, us spending time with Pastor Floyd. And most of Steve Young is here also, and Talisa and Brother Williams. That anytime you had a conversation with him, those things that were in his heart was going to come out every single conversation, right? And I tell people that, there were 4 things, 3 or 4, but 4 mainly that I don't care what conversation we were having, this was going to come out of his mouth. How many people came to the altar and got saved at church on that Sunday, right? Mentoring our children and make sure that we save the lives of these Black kids, right? The business side of empowering people to become wealthy, right? But most importantly, you were going to hear about his family, right? You're going to hear what those kids were doing. You're going to hear him talking about and sharing, the accomplishments of his wife, his kids, and what Amira said and her wisdom and all of these things.
Yeah, and I just add to that, you're also going to hear that in 2053, if we don't get our stuff together, Black medium income is going to be at 0.
Right. Yeah.
And so his fight and his drive to continue to educate, to motivate. And I said this to some of the men at the church, easily it's going to take 100 of us to fill the shoes that Pastor Ricky Floyd did. But the great thing about it is he gave us a blueprint. He didn't just talk the talk. You can look out the door. He bought the whole start with a little store to put boys to work, but then to have a whole strip mall.
Yeah.
And so now all we can do is continue to add to that. It shouldn't be a subtraction.
Right.
It should be now buy the whole block. And that's what he was about, buy back the Black Bay. And again, I said that to Mayor Paul Young and Lee Harris the other day. They said, what can we do? Help us buy back the Bay. Just what Pastor Floyd legacy was all about. And so I just thank him for being that example, not just a talker, but a walker of their words.
Right.
Can I add something? I think after all hearing everything and just about his life, one of his biggest things was making sure people didn't lose their lives to the streets and how he lost his life to violence. It's like the irony behind it was just mind blowing for like gun violence and just for him to lose his life that way. It was just, that's what I'm just trying to really grasp and understand. It makes no sense.
But it makes God sense, I believe, because the thing is that when you talk about his life was all on purpose. It was an assignment from growing up in the cornfield, being born in the cornfields of Tunica, Mississippi, to having the ACEs that he did, to mitigating the ACEs in the lives of these
Can you
other
say what
children.
ACEs is again one more time?
Adverse childhood
Thank you.
experiences.
Okay.
And go back and look at the show I was on.
Right.
Yeah.
But what you saying, Coach Jack?
Yeah,
he did. And Coach Jack, you're actually a church member of POG, right? Yeah. What kind of impact was that like for you? Okay. Right. Yeah. Yes.
And at that time, I had to keep like I said,
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
Right.
we had how many? 20
About 15, at least 15, 16 years doing the baby shower, doing the Fresh Starts Community Baby Shower, and he was a regular speaker at the Fresh Starts Community Baby Shower.
You know, I mean, just on our level, and like Brother Caswell said, you know, he went through the traumas, so he know what we going through. And it's easy to break down. My daughter, she came to church, and she was like, that's the biggest thing. He was like, he made it so easy to understand.
Break it down in granular form. You know, I want to send a shout out to Tina Tilton, who actually introduced me to Pastor Ricky Floyd. She was one of the church members. That's back when they were in the bank over there next to the pawn shop, right in Fraser. And we got together. I want to say this is around 2005 or something like that, right? And we got together and we bonded from then. You know, it's 20 years of a relationship. 20 years of a relationship. It was an incredible relationship, right? You know, just so people know, you know, just a little bit about me. It's hard to get close to me. Right. It really is.
True. That's
true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you were lucky enough to get close to me. I should kick your ass out now. Look. Okay, guys. But it's incredibly hard. Yeah, it is, you know, and that come from my aces. Right. And but me and him, we were able to bond and become, you know, trusted confidants, you know, of each other. And I'm telling you, man, and you know, we shared stuff that, probably, you know, he only shared with his closest confidants. And so, you know, but you talk about an incredible and dynamic and purpose-driven life, right? And an individual that truly knew his assignment, right? He knew his assignment. Right, and he embraced it. Yeah, go ahead.
You speak to knowing his assignment. So I remember some years ago, I had to learn to stop doing this because he'll put some crazy on Facebook. I said, Lord, take it down, man. He's like, no, Chuck, that's what I use. He said, so you see me put all that positive, nobody said nothing. Right. I put something negative, they comment. He said, and what I found in that, and it was confirmation this week from people that talked to me, said they came not liking him, but left loving him.
That's right.
And so the thing was, he had a strategy, and God used him in that way. Even if he said, I knew my words sometimes didn't spell, but I used that because they're gonna say something.
Right.
And then they're gonna leave after looking at the work and saying, man, this guy is about the business. And I saw that in that, so I left them alone.
And, you know, but you know, that speaks to, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, but that speaks to the psyche of our people too, right? You know, you post something negative and or something that appears to be negative, or you know, or something that they can, you know, ridicule about or create drama around, and you know, and then they, you know, our people, some of our people, not all of our people, but
it's a lot. You know, there's a lot of percentage, sadly, and that's in there. And I say to our pastors and being a pastor before, like, make sure you take care of yourself. People don't care. Once they're gonna find that one thing, and politicians, that one thing that they can found and to tear you down, because why? Hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
And sadly, when they have not healed because of their own ACEs, their own trauma, they're going to pass that off to make them try to lift themselves up. People are right now trying to use this as an opportunity to lift themselves up because they don't know no way of their purpose and assignment they do. But we know the greatness of Pastor Ricky Floyd and all that he did, man, for so many people. It's untold story. And so his legacy is great. We're going to no doubt keep it great and continue to push forward all that we got for him to do in the city.
You know what's the most hurtful, and we'll wrap the segment up because I don't want to spend much time on the negative, but what's the most hurtful to me is when individuals profess to be his friend. Right. And then turn around and try to slick, disparage, or, you know, create some doubt, or, you know, some of these other things. When unless you've seen and felt that hurt that rests with Sheila Floyd, Pastor Floyd's wife, and his family, you know, if you knew and understood and truly understood that, you know, you wouldn't be out here.
Yes, they
would.
Know, they hurt.
Well, they may.
They don't curl. You know this,
right?
You know this. People don't curl because they are trying to build themselves, to found their own identity themselves. But they don't care if they hurt other folks. And that's the sad part about seeing what many of those folks did. But we know, again, God know that all things work together for the good. And so I know greatness is going to come unless a grain of seed fall to the ground and die, or many more will pop up. The legacy of what he's doing is birthing fathers that's popping up because he was a father to the fatherless.
Right,
so,
absolutely. And we'll end on that. And don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got Dr. Talisa Franklin. We're going to talk about the business side of Pastor Ricky D. Floyd as we reflect on the legacy of Pastor Ricky D. Floyd. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. Today we're reflecting on the life, the love, and the legacy of Pastor Ricky D. Floyd. And we are, of course, you know, all still in a space of tremendous hurt, you know, with the sudden loss, the sudden death of our friend and family member. And, you know, we're going to be talking about this the whole show, talking about, you know, all that he was and all that he was passionate about, where his heart was and who he really was, you know. And this is important. I think this is important from an educational standpoint for those people that did not know who Pastor Ricky Floyd was. We're doing this show so that we can share with you and tell you and get you and make it so that you truly understand what Pastor Ricky Floyd was about. And Josh, I think we got some video on Black Wall Street, if I'm not mistaken.
Our society right now, most of the crime that's being perpetuated by our young men. One of the watches that will be having three grand openings of African American businesses. We're literally building a Black Wall Street in Frazier. Three businesses. One of those businesses will feature 4 African American women entrepreneurs that are going to be working out in one of those businesses.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
There's another clip from when Pastor Floyd was on the show, and he was talking about, you know, his business efforts in the Frazier community. And one of the things that too we're going to just touch on, and Talisa, I'm about to give it to you, is well, hell, I should introduce Talisa, huh? Y'all welcome Talisa Franklin.
Come on now.
Give it up for her.
Yes.
Yeah, and I probably should reintroduce my co-host.
It's okay. It was all back. It's okay.
It's one of them days, brother. It's one of them days.
Angelica Jelly Woods in the building.
Hey, we have to skip you, but hey, okay.
And one more time for DJ Kojak.
Yeah,
DJ
yeah.
Kojak. Yeah.
Don't gas us.
So
Don't
now
gas
to
us.
Lisa Franklin. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's been one of those weeks.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that Pastor Floyd was incredibly passionate about was business.
Absolutely.
And every morning he was live,
Mm-hmm.
talking about building wealth.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. You want to
Prosperity.
expound on that a little bit?
Prosperity.
Absolutely. So if you knew Pastor Ricky D. Floyd, I would say he was a servant first, and he was a true heart for entrepreneurship amongst the Black community. He didn't just talk about it. He walked it. He lived it. He supported it. Not only did he have, he created Black Wall Street in the Fraser community in the Bay, but not only did that, he made sure he supported other Black businesses. He was intentionally, I tell people, because I've been in business 30 plus years, I hear a lot of people that talk Black, but they really ain't for this Black. They ain't for the Black business movement, right? I'm just being real.
Come on,
because I have been in business many times. When you come to me, you
Mm-hmm.
want a cheaper price.
Come
When
on.
you
Well,
go
hold
somewhere
on,
else,
we're gonna stay
you'll
right
pay
there now.
more
You done
price.
did a left turn.
So y'all just know this is who I am.
You want
today.
free.
Yeah.
You want
Right?
free.
Because, but one thing about him, every time he came into my business or whatever, even though we were twins and we love each other, he never said, "Man, I don't want no discount. I'm gonna pay you full price," and he'll still give you more because he still knew
on top of that.
I was already taking care of him. So he was all about that life. And when he created Black Wall Street, I think about with the thrift store, he was intentional to make sure he had affordable stuff, and people still wouldn't come to him and spend no money.
Come on.
I spent money in it.
Mine, I love it.
I
A
know.
lot of my outfits came from Regroup Boutique. Don't play with it.
Don't play with it.
I
Don't play with it.
I
I got
some
several.
real nice stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then he had an apartment complex, 52 units.
Yeah,
I
and
never
all
even
people
knew
want
that.
to go with bad credit, but you had some good credit. He wanted some good credit folk too. But
Yeah.
he was just that type of man. If you had bad credit, he still made sure you had a roof over your head.
That's
And that's what
awesome.
hurts me sometimes when I see the very same people that he helped making sure they were successful with the same ones that's dabbing his name. Baby, I need you to protect my name in life and in death.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so and I want to touch on that, but before I want to touch on those peripheral things that he did that most people don't even know. But before we get to that, he opened up the candy store, right? And then he partnered and got a daycare opened up over there.
Yes.
And conferences, teaching.
Yeah, he had one coming up.
Yep.
About the fundamentals of business, to
Absolutely.
give him taxes or bookkeeping or something like that.
And a new book that just dropped.
Actually, the merge.
Right, the merge.
I was the
The
first
merge,
person that bought the merge.
Right,
I gotta say,
right. Come on now.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on
I
now.
had to be the first.
I think I was like the 8th or 9th.
You got to be first. You got to be first.
There's only one person. It's interesting. And touching on eating the estates and apartments, right? I remember when all that stuff was taking place and going on. But what a lot of people miss is when that person comes to him and say, "Hey, I don't have a place to stay." He might not have had a place to put them in Eden Estates, but he found them. He temporarily put people in the houses on the church.
Yes.
He, put people or helped them. There were many times where he gave people money, where he sowed seeds into them, where he gave kids jobs. But let's talk about this part of it though, where people miss, right? Back when Pastor Floyd, had been through a similar incident, involving, guns and carjacked one time too. But that individual that perpetrated that crime went to jail, went to prison.
Come on.
But Pastor Floyd started mentoring that person's kids.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Now think about that, right?
Yeah.
Man, look, I've never seen, and Weezy, you can attest to that. Charlie's still here.
Yeah.
You can attest to this. The level of forgiveness that this man possessed. He would forgive and help when most people would have been like, "Oh shit, hell no."
You on your own.
Right. You think about what happened with his son, and and then he took the individual, that beat the son up, brought him into the church, into the family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And mentored him and got him saved. And these folks are adults now.
Absolutely.
Right. And so it's so many levels and good things that this man did in our community. Many of them most people don't even know about.
Don't know
Absolutely,
about.
because
Don't know about it.
he did so much giving in secret.
Right.
Many people many people say, oh, he was a show off. He was this. No, he was a man that had a great heart, and he was just charismatic, right? And sometimes people get your charismatic gift in being a show off. It's just you charismatic. You got the gift, right? But he had a heart to make sure people win.
You know, there's a saying out there that says, put yourself around people who won't see you talking about your accomplishments as bragging.
Right.
Exactly.
You follow me?
Exactly.
You know, who will celebrate with
Yes.
you when you make these accomplishments.
Yeah.
And we celebrated each other, man. I can tell you right now, Pastor Ricky Floyd's love language was words of affirmation.
Yes.
Those of us that know him know this.
Yes.
Right? Those of us that know him know that he loved being affirmed in regards to the things that he was doing for our people, man.
Yes.
For our people. And I tell people this too, and this is important. If you think crime is bad in the Fraser community, imagine what it would have been had Pastor Ricky Floyd not been doing the things that he was doing in the Fraser community.
Facts.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Think about that. I was in the barbershop, was it yesterday, day before yesterday, and my barber was telling me that Pastor Floyd sent some kids down there to him to get chopped up, right? And one of the kids was in there and he was saying, yeah, man, you ought to come and join this program because, man, he buy you this, he buy you that, this, that, and other. So the barber called Pastor Floyd and said, hey, man, you sure about these kids, right? Because they seem like they're trying to use you, right? And Pastor Floyd told him, and I'm paraphrasing, that it's okay, right? Because the fact that they are over there in your chair means that they are not out doing something violent or something else to someone else. Let them use me.
Yeah.
You said that's the kind of person we're talking about.
Yeah.
Those don't come along very often.
Not at all.
You know, they're rare,
Not at all.
right? They are rare jewels and gems for our community, and that's why we talk about, you know, it's not just the you know I can be selfish and think about the hole that's left in my heart and my life, right? Because he's gone, but there's a gaping hole that's left in the Memphis community, right? That I don't know if it can ever be filled or if it will be filled, and there will definitely never be another Ricky D. Floyd.
Absolutely, positively not.
Right. And so so there's man, so much that's going to be missed, and so much that it's such a huge loss, you know, for our community.
Yeah, very much so. It's a big, huge loss for our community. It's a big loss for all the people that he employed, because a lot of times you look at all those businesses, how the economic impact that was happening right there in Fraser, those communities will miss his presence, because there was times that I've seen myself. You go into the Regroup boutique, you didn't have enough money to buy the clothes. He took what you had because it was more important for him than you to be clothed than get the money. Everybody is not going to have the same heart.
Right.
And then I saw young boys that you knew that was from the hood, from single parents, that was struggling, maybe had their pants down in the beginning. Now their pants is lifted up because he made sure he had a belt, and they in there selling smoke sausages, selling food, and showing them how to sell and make a living, and not just go out here and steal it. And so there's going to be some things that's going to, people go forget, and when they don't see that white truck on the parking lot, you may be having a bad day. When you go into one of his businesses, he was going to give you a hug and show you how much he cared for you, because people don't want to know how much you know until you show them how much they care. And I can only tell you that one man, he cared for people. And you don't find people that care for people genuinely. He had a heart to see you win. I promise you, he would just call me and just tell me how valuable, how loving, because that sometimes you need to hear that, because when the world is beating the living heck out of you, right? You need to hear somebody say that you matter. That I'm counting on you, I'm cheering for you. And that's who he was. And that's what I know that I'll forever remember, and I'll forever make sure I'm sewing into businesses, especially Black-owned businesses, because I want to see Black-owned businesses not just survive, but I need them to thrive.
Right. Yes, indeed.
And that's what I did. I mean, I shopped at the boutique for other people, even when I didn't find something I wanted to buy. First day in the boutique, when I went to the boutique, impeccable service. And I posted, you can check my post. I said they got the service of a Macy's in the hood. I'm talking about these young men. I went in the place, they wouldn't let me touch nothing. I'm talking about when I say impeccable service, man. When I saw this, I said, okay, this you'll forever get my business here. You know, and I talked about the boutique all the time, man. And there was some nice stuff up in there too. And it still is. Like come on. And it smelled like, look, the affirmations that was on the wall, the people that's on the wall, even in the studio. You know, I mean, I can't look. Man, this is crazy.
Don't cry, Jack. If you cry, I'm gonna cry.
Nah, this, you know, I'm you know, it's crazy. I'm still trying to process this. It makes no sense.
Yeah. We all are. I'm telling you, man. And my body has been responding to this. You know, and you know, it just and mentally, I've just been all over the place, and sleep has been struggling, and it's tough, man.
I told you. I'm surprised you even wanted to do this show today. I called him. I was like, "Do you want to?" I said, "Do you want to cancel?" No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna change the whole thing. I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you gonna be able to make it through the show?" Then I was like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah,
he loved to shine.
Yeah.
We have to, had to do this show. I'm gonna tell you something funny, man, that a lot of people don't know is that, so and I can guarantee, and I'm sure Steve gonna say some of the same stuff when he come up to, and Chris, but he was my closest friend, right? But we didn't always agree on stuff, man, and those were some crazy disagreements, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all. Look, I don't mind telling because I tell the story all the time. Look, so one time he had us all at the church, Steve, and we're doing this is when he was at the church across from Fraser High School, and we were doing some type of panel discussion, right? And I said something, and he came across. He said, "You ain't gonna say that in my church." something to that effect, right? And I said, "Yes, I am," right? And so I termed that. You ain't gonna McGilla gorilla me, and so we were at it for about a week or two, right? But here's what came out. Here's what's funny about that. After Sheila realized we wasn't on the phone like we normally are, right? Sheila said, "You ain't talked to Touche?" And look, and he's like, "No, I ain't talked to that." No, right. Sheila said, "You better pick up that phone right now and call Touche and work it out," right? She said, because she knows that we're true friends, right? Yeah. And that's the true the true testament of a real relationship, right? Yeah.
And a real good wife too. Remember, I tell you all the time.
Yeah. Wife with some wisdom, right? Yeah. Angelica always gonna throw that wife in there. But if you have a disagreement and your relationship can't survive the disagreement, then it wasn't a real relationship.
Yeah.
And so and that's how we were. And that was just one of a few, right? Over the 20 years, right? Yeah. And so, but here's something else too. He could have an idea, right? Think about doing this, the other. And there's been times where he bounced the idea off of me. I was like, nope. Don't do it because this is what it's gonna look like. He shared family stuff with me, right? I knew when he was into it with a family member and this, that, right. There's been times where I told him, "Man, you need to take your ass right on in there and apologize," right? And he's like, of course he would push against it, right? Yeah. And then he'd go and do it, but this is what would happen afterwards. Call me back later. And he'd be like, the last thing I want to do is tell you was right. Right. And, but he would tell me, in those cases where I was right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. True brother. Right. And look, people, Pastor Floyd, just like everybody else, right?
He's human.
He's human, man.
He's a man.
He's a man. He's human. We had, we all have our, shortcomings. We all have our gifts, right? I always tell people I equate a person, an individual, as, and Steve, you can preach this Sunday if you want to. I always equate an individual to that of the sun. You think about the sun, right? There are billions of bursts coming off the sun every millisecond, right?
Yeah.
Billions, right? But those billions of bursts make up the sum of what the sun is. It's no different for a person, right? Your billions of bursts can be your eye color, your, what you think about family. It could be your height, your weight, what you like to eat. Those, your hair color, billions of sunbursts, billions of bursts coming off of you that make up the sum of who you are. And so and I say that to let people know that you can't take one burst and label a person as this one burst, because there are billions.
Yes.
Right. You can't take one and say this is who that person is, and leave the other billions of bursts that make up the sum of who that person is. And so you can preach that. Right. And they're right. And that matters, because a lot of times you'll see, and I know we're a little ADHD on this. A lot of times you'll see though,
that's why we get along.
Right. You'll see where people, let's say even the boyfriend says, I don't like you because of this one thing. Well, what about the rest of the billions of things that make up who I am? Right.
Exactly.
Right. So really that's a problem and an issue with the other person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So y'all, we're going to wrap this segment up right there.
I want to say this too, Shay. In honor of Pastor Ricky D. Floyd, buy back the Bay. Make sure you go spend some money.
Yes.
That's all I want to say. Go buy back the Bay.
Yeah. Go to regroup. Pull up and regroup.
Yes.
Let's put some
I
regroup.
want to go. I've never been before.
I've never been.
Well,
I'll let you know we have open, because I want everybody to come back and buy back the Bay. So when we get ready to have a special Ricky D. Floyd Day, I want everybody to come and buy back the Bay that day.
All right,
And honor him. I'm gonna make sure that I want everybody to spend some money.
So look, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project. Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. You're watching the fastest growing visual podcast in the Memphis market. Let's give it up for that.
Yes.
I feel a little bit better now, man, after coming out of that segment, man, and getting a chance to celebrate Pastor Ricky D. Floyd. Y'all give it up for my lovely co-host, Angelica Jelly Woods, in the building.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
She is in the building. And give it up for my DJ. That's my DJ, DJ Kojak, in the building.
That's y'all DJ. I'm gonna be nice today. I'm gonna be nice today.
Yes,
I appreciate
it. Yes.
I'm going through.
Hey, look, y'all give it up for hey, listen, y'all. Let me set this up right. Let me set this up the proper way.
Oh gosh.
So, man, I should have told him before he came here, right?
Come on now.
Now this man got more big words than Earl Fisher.
I'm about to ask you.
And so look, we are. Look, do we need to get the thesaurus out?
No.
Y'all give it up for Pastor Steve Young in the building.
Yeah, don't give me lost, Pastor. Don't give me lost.
Man, we are honored to have you. And listen, my last conversation with Pastor Ricky Floyd, it went like this. Last Sunday, I was on my way to Nashville, and we actually, let me go back a little bit. That Friday evening, we talked on the phone. We our normal cracking up, checking and tripping and this, that, and the other. And then, because we were talking about, he was going to be doing Thaddeus Matthews' funeral the next day. And I was going to be at a friend of mine, Jimmy Taylor's funeral the next day. And we're talking and cracking him. He was telling me about this pastor that he knows that's funny, real, incredibly funny, right? And Fred Smith, as a matter of fact, right? And so when I went to Jimmy Taylor's funeral that Saturday, Fred Smith was there on the stage. I had never met him, right? But Fred Smith was funny. Oh man, he had us cracking up at Jimmy Taylor's service, and so I got a chance to see him when I went up on stage. Got a chance to meet him, and then so that Sunday I called Pastor Floyd back, to see how everything went with Thaddeus Matthews' service and tell him about that I met Fred Smith, and we're on the phone cracking up. Now keep in mind I had just crossed the Tennessee River, so I'm probably about 20 minutes past Tennessee River, which is a little bit more than halfway to Nashville, right? We on the phone cracking up. Told him I seen some other folks over there, and we on the phone cracking up. He said, hold on, let me call Steve Young, right? And so we get Steve Young on the phone, and now we over there cracking up even harder, man. We're just having a good time. We stayed on that phone laughing and tripping all the way from the Tennessee River till I was 10 minutes into my apartment in downtown Nashville.
Wow. Oh, you use them for the conversation.
Right,
you do that a lot.
Man, look, I was doing more listening.
Yeah.
Look.
And he said, I got to let y'all go.
Right. Well, Steve, welcome to the Antonio Parkinson Project, man. We're honored to have you. Man, look, we love and appreciate your family too, man. The Youngs are important to us.
Thank you.
All of them.
So
About 1,000 of them. But
he did. He told me, he said a lot of them. He did.
Yeah,
so glad.
Yeah, man.
So glad. I was just thinking about Ricky on the way here, and he is just an unusually, just excessively exceptional person.
Yeah.
As Talisa was saying, I mean, she was just he was uniquely given the ability to do his assignment. And as you were talking, Chris and I were just bumping each other because we had arguments, we had run-ins, but we never fell out.
Yeah.
And I'm like everybody else. I'm just stunned and hurt, but believing God to bring us through, and prayerfully we'll have the grace to make it through all of this together.
Yeah, man. Tell us how y'all met, how you and Pastor Floyd met.
We met. We had some things in common. He and I began pastoring the same year in 2002. 23 years ago, and his birthday is January 14th. Mine is January 15th.
Oh wow! Okay.
And Tammy, my wife, and Sheila and his wife. Sometimes we would get on the phone or conversations going on at one time, and it was just just hilarious. But Ricky, we met at a couples retreat, and I'd seen him. He had a TV show at the time, and I recognized him. He was a minister, but he was in a small, I think it may have been even in his house at the time.
Scenic Hills.
Yes. And so, and I met him, and he came and introduced himself to me, and immediately, but this was Ricky for everybody.
Yeah.
Immediately we just clicked, and we just became friends, and we stayed as friends from that point forward.
Yeah.
And he made everybody. I always thought that, but I found out later Chris was, but come to find out, I was his best friend, and Touche was.
Right. You made everybody feel that way.
Right.
But he would call me about things, and we would talk about things, and he was just a special and unique person, and we just remained friends for 23 years.
Yeah. The interesting thing is this, right? And not going back to harp on that, but some of the stuff that was put out there, about Ricky, it's hurtful, right? But you knew who his friends were, because he talked about his friends.
Yeah, that's what you said.
To all of his friends, right? And so, for those folks that are saying that, Ricky Floyd was my friend, and he ain't called your name out, player, I don't know about that one, player. Right. Because he, we knew who his friends were, right? Because in them phone calls, boy, he referenced the friends all the time.
And I noticed that everybody's been friends with him a long time. It was 20 years,
and it
20 years.
Easily have been terminated. We had some vigorous arguments.
Right. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, hold on. We got a little clip.
Of y'all arguing. I'm a joking, Pastor.
Here's the answer. I asked Steve Young this. I saw a preacher who was hooping, and I asked him this question. I said, 10 years from now, will hooping have any relevancy in the church?
Oh, you have to define hooping, because that's going to go into our answer.
I know, yeah. Will what they don't do that
pretty good though.
They don't do, I normally don't do that in the shower. So
right,
but my point is, man, young people want something that's going to help, and old people now too, something that's going to help them deal with their day-to-day lives.
You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project.
All right.
Okay, so Pastor, you do what's it called? Not, it don't call hooping. They call they call hawking or something too. How you say?
We have the premier hooper.
I know that's what I said. Y'all need him.
Go to Steve. Go to Steve.
We have the premier hooper that's here.
Oh, I already know.
Yeah.
He can go off right now. What you mean?
He got a trumpet in his voice.
Okay.
They call it squalling. What's it called? Squalling. That's what they call squalling.
Yes, ma'am.
You know. Yeah. For those of y'all that ain't living the preacher life, the pastor life, somebody said that all Baptist pastor preachers they read the text of the sermon twice, one time in regular speed, the second time slow. Right. So you can get it. You gotta get it. Right. Now what's the purpose behind that, right? You gotta look for a page and so what you doing? You buying time for something.
That's just the artistic way of black preaching, and just giving a little emphasis and a little flavor to the moment,
a little anticipation.
Yes, all of that build up and all of that. So that's what happens in many cases for many black preachers, including me.
Come on now.
That's a wonderful way to do it, you know. But here again with Ricky, Ricky was an unorthodox preacher. He didn't preach as many preachers do preach. He had an uncommon way of coming to the scriptures, and we argued about theology quite often, doctrine quite often. But he was but he was different in so many ways that gave him a little niche for the church community that made him a unique voice. And he stood out because of that. Whether good or bad, whichever way you want to look at it, Ricky was unique.
Yes, indeed.
And again, as you said, I don't think that hole will be soon filled.
Yes.
He was a special person.
Yes.
He really was.
And in everything he did, he was unique.
The
business, the community, the pastor, everything. Yes.
I mean, just on and on and on.
Yes, indeed. And he was courageous. And what I say that to say, even going back to the post, right? When he put these posts up, to hook folks, right? And then, and they come in and not liking him and leave loving him, right? He was courageous enough to say things knowing that it's going to bring a little heat, right? I give you an example on the show. Remember on the show, he said, what if your church closed up today? Would the people of that community even notice that you were closed?
Oh yeah,
remember that? Yeah, that would rub some pastors the wrong way.
But that's a valid point.
Yes,
it's a very valid point. But it took courage to say that, right? It took courage, to stand and do the deals that he did. To get his church and his building and take the heat from us, from people that look like him, right? Not me, y'all. Not me. But people that run in and take it and say, "Yeah, he can give him Ricky Floyd." No, but he saw the bigger picture,
and he has a sense of humor.
I was going and that was the uniqueness of him. He never met a stranger,
right?
And his networking ability, even though he never went to school for anything, I mean, he just could meet people and connect with them. I don't care. He could traffic in any kind of arena and with governors, mayors, just and the ones all the way on the end of the spectrum. He was, just gifted at people feeling comfortable with him and to talk to him about anything. I mean, he was. I mean this. I mean, this is not hyperbole. I mean, Ricky was.
Okay, go to word. Let me turn my translator on.
No.
Say one more time.
This is no exaggeration.
Okay, thank you. I thought I had to
Ricky was a unique individual.
Yes, indeed.
That God gave a specific assignment to, and he had courage. He had boldness. He would go and again meet people that others wouldn't meet. I mean, he was with those that were denominations. He was a non-denominationalist. He was with those that were in the Baptist denomination. He just preached at a AME, African American Methodist Church, just a few weeks ago. The Southern Baptist, the white congregations loved him. I've seen him preach to them and literally kick them with toe boots and tell them to, and they would leave crying and thanking him and asking him to come back.
Yes,
wow.
I mean, giving them the uncut truth about
I've seen
what was going on with them, right?
Yeah. I mean, he could fit in anywhere.
Yeah,
he just had that personality.
Yeah, man. Steve, what would you like to say to those that are out there that are still trying to figure this out and still trying to wrap their arms around this loss?
All we can do at this point is trust in the sovereign purpose of God. We don't know God's ways and what he does and why he does them. We can ask, we can question, but we trust that God knows what he's doing. And I don't understand. I don't have any answers per se, but we do trust in the God that Ricky preached about, that Ricky reached to other people and reached other people with, and we're believing God to bring us through this together. And we're lifting up Sheila and the family. You said it, Sheila was just a tremendous wife. I cannot speak on her without speaking about him, without speaking about her. She was absolutely tremendous in augmenting his ministry and who he was. And we're going to trust God through this. That's all we can do.
Can I add something? Because I feel led to say this. Shut up, Parkinson. Do this. Look how he ready, leaning. He ready to be so petty.
Coming on, right? Look,
wow. No, it's not a sermon. And I said this on the phone. Out of this whole situation, like even just watch online and the remarks, people have such a disregard for men of the women and men of God. It's like it's like the fear factor is like it has been like removed. You know what I mean? There was a point where you would be scared to speak on Pastor Steve Young, and this is for somebody, I don't know who it is, and I didn't know him long, but we have to be mindful of the words we speak because you don't know who his daddy is, and that's what it has gone away. It's like people is off the chain, like it's just like there's no fear or regards. So a lot of people got some stuff coming. That's all I gotta say. It's for somebody. I don't know who it's for.
Right.
There's a. Shut up, Parkinson. He gonna say something smart. What you gonna say, Parkinson?
You said Pastor Steve Young, but I know you meant Pastor Ricky Floyd because me and Kojak were looking at each other like, huh?
What you mean? No, I'm talking about him. He was looking at me. I said, if you can agree. No, I was talking about in agreement. Are y'all serious? Okay, so y'all think I called him the wrong name. So hold on.
On the plate, Kojak.
I understand.
Yeah, I was looking dead at him, and he was saying he was agreeing with what I was saying. I was saying he was.
You can't put your mouth on Pastor Steve Young.
No, I'm saying just like he can't put his. He a pastor, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, he can't put his mouth on Pastor Chris. You see, I PR'd that. But you know what I mean. Shut up. But there's no regards. It don't matter, living or dead. You just gotta be. People don't have no fear or regards for God. People, it's really weird. And there's a price to pay. I'm just saying. So.
I was looking at this. There was a post and the psychologist. He was saying when you talk to people and you listen to people, don't stop listening to what they're saying and start hearing what they're not saying, right? And that, like, when you got an individual, and we have this situation with the passing of Pastor Ricky Floyd, and you got individuals that are disparaging, his name, right? That is, he said, that shows lack of accountability on their part, right? And because they're not even accounting for their own actions. They're so busy trying to displace or what's the big word I'm looking for?
Deflect.
Deflect. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Give me a bigger one. Though. I expected more out of you, Steve. Way more out of you, right? You let me down, Steve. You let me down. Right.
I'm trying to hear what you're not saying. So.
Right.
Use it back on him. I like it. Yeah, use it back on him.
But yeah, and those things, right? Listen to what they're not saying, right? And so, and that's a learned lesson. This is a learned lesson for me. I'm serious, man. This is a learned lesson for me, and I'm even reflecting on myself, right? And how I handle this pain because it's tough, and people are trying you, they're trying me, right? And I just feel like those of us that were close to him, we have to be protective of the family.
Yes.
Right. We can't leave them out there, naked by themselves to these wolves that are out here trying to make names for themselves. Right. And I'm just I'm like, man, I'm just not only are we hurting. I thank God for this vehicle because I get a chance to vent. Right. Not only are we hurting, but we're also having to deal with other folks that are continuing to stick the knife in and twist it, right? And let me say this publicly too. I pray for the family of Samantha.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I had two last names on her, Inez and another one,
Marion.
Marion.
We know what you mean.
I pray for the family. I pray for her,
Yes.
Samantha Marion.
Yes.
I pray for her.
Yes.
Right. I pray for the family.
Yes.
Of Samantha Marion. And, you know, and you know,
because she had a lot of friends out here too. I noticed that they're chiming in and saying this is not in her character or something like that. Yeah, but you know,
and I don't want to speculate.
What happened?
I don't want to speculate, and you know, but you know, I truly, I pray for her,
Yes.
and her family,
Right.
right? Because this is not a place that anybody wants to be
on either side.
On either side of this,
Yes.
man. And you know, and so, and I pray for our city.
Yes.
You know, because you know we're all hurting and we're all grieving, and I think you're going to see you're seeing the results of that too.
Yes.
And so,
Yes. Ricky was, you know, he was a man of joy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a man of, as you said, he was a comedian.
It's funny.
His preaching, I mean, he would just, you know, and so we have to imbibe that and embody that during this time. At the same time, while we grieve, but we don't grieve as those who have no hope, because the Bible tells us that those who trust in the Lord Jesus, they do have another place to go, and it's all right to move if you got somewhere to move to. And he's moved to another place, and we are asking the Lord to help us. I mean, death is really the ordeal of the living, and it's you know, he's gone and he is settled. We have to stay here and have to deal with these kinds of emotions that we're going through, and the Lord is going to bless us. I really believe the Lord is going to bless us. And somehow or another, I'm just trusting that God will get the glory. I don't know how, but he'll get the glory out of this at some point or another. All things work together. We trust in that Mount Everest verse of scripture in the New Testament, Romans 8:28. All things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. And we hang our hat in times when we are dealing with tragedies and calamities such as this. All we can do is say, God, you've got to work this out. We don't know what this is about, what all of this is happening. But Lord, we know that you have a plan. You are sovereign. Nothing happens by accident.
No.
You are in charge. And Ricky had his hand in your hand, and we commend him to you. And so help us as we continue to live on this side of eternity.
Oh man, boy, thank God for Steve Young.
I
Right?
know.
I'm so glad you're here, man, because you're ministering to me for real.
Yeah.
I mean that, man. Man, y'all give it up for Steve Young in the building.
Yes.
He only used one big word today, right?
I was gonna turn my phone on. I was ready.
Man, right. Hey man, look, we'll be right back, Josh. We're coming right back for another segment. We got the love doctor.
Love. He said a love doctor. You a love doctor?
Chris Williams. Hey, look, he ain't always been singing gospel. Look. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back. You're watching the Antonio Parkinson Project. Thank God for Steve Young, man. Put a smile on my face. Welcome back to the Antonio Parkinson Project. You're watching the fastest growing visual podcast in the
Say that.
You got to change it
I'm ready to
soon. You
clap
got to
now.
change
I'm
it
ready to-
soon.
Man, I'm ready to clap now, man.
Are you ready?
I thank God for that ministering that we received.
Yes.
From
in
me?
the last 7 years. Of course, from you.
Oh,
when
thank you.
said-
Thank
when
you.
you said they can't put their tongue on Steve Young's name and
Y'all know what I meant.
right.
That's not what
Oh,
I. Okay, Pastor Young, you laughing too hard. You were just my
'Cause he
friend, and
called
you
it
was in
too.
agreement.
He called it too. Y'all give it up for
we
my
needed that.
sometimes confused, lovely co-host Angelica.
Come on.
I'll be tired, y'all. I'll be tired. I work hard. Okay.
Come on now.
Man,
tired.
and give it up for my DJ. That's my DJ, DJ Kojak.
Okay, we're gonna be nice today. Yay, Coach.
DJ Kojak is the one that dropped the Kirk Franklin in the club when they start fighting and stuff. So that's
you remember that?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. I
Oh,
do
Lord,
remember
that's
that.
not- we gotta go
Right.
88
Hey,
real
that'll stop
quick.
the fights too, man. That makes it clean up. They be like, oh Lord,
Take
right.
me
Everybody
to
getting saved.
the Lord.
Everybody in the club getting saved.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
right.
not aware.
Man, y'all give it up for our guest, Brother Williams, Chris Williams in the building.
Yes,
Woo, woo, woo.
Williams.
Yeah, yeah. Hey man, it's your first time on the Antonio Parkinson
Man,
Project,
yes.
huh?
First time.
You ought to be shining
Man.
yourself.
I've been trying to get you here too. They be shutting me down.
Angelica been inviting everybody but you, man.
Ooh, you so like he gonna lie. Kojak, you gonna let him lie?
And that's my sister.
No, he a lie. Kojak, Parkinson, you need to learn not to lie. Out of all that what's going on, you need to tell the truth.
Look, pray for me.
Yes,
Listen,
please.
listen. So man, look, before we jump into this, because you know you've been singing for a long time, right?
We do that last.
What you know, what was one of your first groups that you were singing in?
Me and my brothers, man, we had a little R&B group that we were singing in. You know, we started in the club. We was at Prentice on the Hill.
Right, that's right. What's the name of it?
It was just the William Boys.
That's right. That's right.
You remember
I told
that?
you he was the love doctor.
I thought I didn't know that. I thought you was making up something. I thought you was
Prentice on the
lying.
Hill.
Prentice on the Hill, baby.
I done learned me
They had a
something.
talent show called
Stairway to the Stars.
Oh, don't get them started, please.
Man, don't get me started.
Please.
I got a funny story about that. They want, look, let me tell you just real quick funny story.
Oh God.
So my brother Drag, right? He's like, man, we gotta do Stairway to the Stars, man. We gotta do it, right? You know, oh no, this one was when they were doing that charades, right? When it was charades, right? And they had the pit. Remember that? They had the pit down in the middle, right?
I remember
and
that.
so my brother Rico, you remember these days? Rico was around. We had this song. We was using the Vanity 6 sample, right? And it's a Nasty Girl, right? And so Drag was like, man, we gotta get in the contest. We can win. So I said, okay. So we got in the contest, right? And we down there with our Chess King outfits on and our Oak Tree outfits. And we down there, we looking odd like a mug, right? You know, people still had curls back then, right?
Right.
And so we down there, we in there. Song come on. I go through. I had the first verse. I do my first verse, right? Then the hook come on, and then Drag's trying to do his verse, and forgot his damn lyrics.
Get out of here.
Right?
Get out of here.
And look, hey Steve, his eyeballs was this wide, right? Look, I'm ready to be his hype man. Look, I turn around and look. I'm like,
That's the move you was
right?
doing.
I'm like,
That's your move.
and his eyeballs was this big. He was frozen. You know what I'm saying? Right. Got the doggone lyrics. Needless to say, we got booed out of the pit.
Not the pit. Not the
I thought you
pit.
were gonna say y'all won. I was about to say
Hey,
really.
look, hey, they were unforgiving in there. Am I right? Man, they didn't
What?
care. Man, they did not care, man.
Oh God, y'all memory lane,
Man,
Jesus.
yeah. Listen, one thing about Ricky Floyd, this is one of the things that we did not talk about too in the earlier segments. He was a music person.
Come on now.
He was a music person and could hold a tune. He could hold a tune.
Remember songs and we'll throw them in the sermon in a minute.
Yep. I remember one time, you know, James Cleveland was one of my favorite gospel artists, right? Growing up, right? His version of Peace Be Still and those songs, right, were classic. And I said,
What?
and I told
you know that? Oh
God.
God.
Shade, man,
I didn't know. Surprised. Y'all being
shade,
serious. He was
shade,
the classics.
shade.
Okay. All right.
But I remember telling Ricky, I said, man, you know, you and James Cleveland kind of got y'all kind of, I'm in music too, right?
Yeah.
Y'all, I said, you and James Cleveland, y'all tone kind of alike, right? Have you ever thought about doing Peace Be Still? And there was another one, right, that James Cleveland had that. Come on, Steve. What is it, Steve?
I don't feel nowhere tired.
Not that one, but there's one more, right? And it might be, but yeah. So I said, man, you would kill Peace Be Still. He said, man, I don't do that kind of music in here, man.
Right. Well, he write a song on stage.
Oh yeah.
I'm a witness because I had to sing what he was saying.
Yeah, right. Well, man, tell us about your experience with Pastor Ricky Floyd.
Oh man, how we met was ridiculous. We were.
I'm scared.
You know, my brother was passionate about what he believed, and he had made a post.
Step a little closer to the mic.
He had made a post on Facebook.
Oh,
and
we know where this going.
Right? He made a post on
responded.
Facebook. And as Steve said, we all had disputes about theology and all this kind of thing. And so I inboxed him, and he inboxed me back, and we're both kind of strong guys,
right? Right.
And so we were just going back and forth. I said, man, call me. You know,
Right,
call
right,
me
right,
so we
right.
can talk. You
All
know,
this texting.
yeah,
Right.
I come from the hood, man.
Right,
We need to talk.
Right,
So,
right.
man, we had a conversation, and man, we've been linked. We were linked ever since that time, man. Yeah. And we had so many brotherly disagreements. And people didn't understand our relationship dynamic because I'm much younger than he is, and but I was the little brother. You know, I was the baby brother, in fact. And you know, that's just how we were with each other, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What if you know, what was one of his favorite songs?
He had a few of them. And one of his favorite singers does praise and worship at his church now, which is Cedric Shannon Reed. And he had another song that he would like me to sing. One of them was a song that I recorded called Recover. Recover. Yeah.
Okay, let me hear that.
It's pursue, overtake, without fail you will recover everything that was taken from you. Don't give up, without fail you will recover everything that was taken from you.
Man. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, I can see why. That boy sang.
I feel like I need another song.
Right. You need another one? What you need?
What about a song to lift these spirits up in here? What song? What do you think is a go song when you're going through mourning that gets you through? I guess. I know.
For me, there are several. You know, Ricky and I would ride along. You know, took a couple of out of town trips, and we would be in the car riding and singing songs that were, you know, meaningful, as you to say the least. They were very meaningful. But as you just said, James Cleveland was kind of one of the people that I thought about. One of the songs that gets me through times like this is I just can't give up now.
Yeah.
It's
tired too. Yeah.
What? Oh God, Parkinson's surprising me today, Lord.
Right. How they go?
You don't hear it.
I just can't give up now.
Oh yeah.
You take your time.
Come too far.
Steve about to do all
where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Man, that man is pitch perfect. Give it up for that man.
You better run off on you real quick.
Man, that man is pitch perfect. Man, how you start singing, man?
Oh man, I was a baby. I come from a singing family. You know, my dad, my uncles, my brothers, of course, they sang, and man, it just fell on me.
Right, man.
God just gave it to me.
I love it. I love it. You know, I got a studio in here. You know, all this stuff you just brought.
Let's
I'm
go.
sampling that. I'm sampling that. I got hooks.
Let's
go. Pastor Chris, where do you pastor at?
Let's go with it. Man, I pastor Faith Covenant Church. Faith Covenant Church in East Memphis area. Willow Road, 4815 Willow, right by Overton High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you knew Jimmy Taylor, didn't you? Did you know Jimmy Taylor?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Very well.
You know, wonderful guy. Wonderful
Certainly.
guy, man.
Most certainly.
I met Jimmy when he was working at Oak Tree.
Yeah.
Right. He was working at Oak Tree.
You,
right.
yeah.
He was still in high school. That's why I first
Years
learned
ago.
of an Overton High School, because he went to Overton High School too.
Got
He
it.
was singing too. Yeah, he used to get it in too, and and dancer. Yeah, was part of the Funkaholics, and all of them folks.
Y'all groups.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, man, Chris, you know what's how you feeling about everything that's happening right now?
Like everybody else, trying to just really process it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's kind of tough, man. I've been sitting in my backyard every day, just letting the wind blow. My wife came out the other day and was like, "You okay?" Because I sat out there till probably like 1 a.m. Just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But some things are not for us to figure out.
Yeah.
They're God things, and we have to let God be God. Let Him do what we can while we do what we can.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you though, in this celebration of life that's going to be coming up, for Pastor Ricky Floyd, if we just keep his energy, I promise you, it's going to be one of the best celebrations of life.
That sounds like that's what he wanted.
Absolutely. Long as we don't fall asleep like he, during the service.
Right, funny.
Yeah, fall asleep.
My brother would go to sleep on you.
Man, that is too funny.
We were riding one day, and I know I needed some help staying awake. We had a long trip, and man, I promise you, probably about 5, because anybody who knows him knows he didn't sleep well.
Right.
And so during the daytime is when really he could get a little sleep in.
Right.
So
nap.
man, we were riding, and man, I thought sure he was gonna stay up with me. I looked over and about 15 minutes into the drive, and he's snoring loud.
That is too funny.
Man, loud.
That is too
and funny. I got it on video too.
Man, I wish we'd have had
I can post it now.
Play it right now.
I can post it. I wish we'd have had that video. But you think about folks like that, man. Like Pastor Young was saying, man, these are special people, right? And they are wired from birth a certain way, to go as hard as you can. Honestly, you think about it, and this might not be politically correct for me to say, but if it wasn't for this, he would have worked himself to glory, and it's a lot of us that do that, right? And shoot, I got a CPAP now, right? Because seriously, I do, and it's the best thing ever happened to me, right? CPAP, y'all owe me some money for this commercial, right? But listen,
right?
We spent all of them years, right, of pushing and running on 3-4 hours of sleep, getting back up, back at it again, and back at it again. For whatever that calling is, and so it does it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on you mentally, and and so but
he didn't
God,
stop.
why did he? Oh no, he didn't stop, man. He did not stop. And it was always for other people.
Always for other people.
And that's the main thing that I think people need to get from this.
Always for other people.
Always for other people.
He was so selfless. And a giving individual, man. There were moments when he would call me and just be like, man, come by the church. Come by, I got something for you. I go by, man. He just had me $200. Here, just to don't tell Sheila.
Right. Look, she don't know now.
She knows now.
Right.
But he was just a selfless person, man.
Man.
And man, that's my guy.
Yeah, man. So
I know when it first happened, Mitch was like, I wonder how my brother doing. That's the first thing he said.
Yeah.
Because it's the week of your father passing too. So it has been a heavy week. So yeah.
I was in this week so the day before we lost Pastor Floyd, I couldn't sleep, right? It was an incredibly rough night of sleep, right? Seriously.
That was you too, Chris?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird, right?
At like 12:32. I text my brother and was like, man, I can't sleep. Where you at? I don't know why.
Right.
But
yeah. And couldn't sleep. Then the next day, I slept for 7.5 hours, right? And first thing I do, see y'all, those of y'all that laughing about the CPAP, right? It tell you how long you slept, right?
Yeah, right.
And so first thing I do is turn over and you got one?
I don't use it no more. It chokes me.
Oh well, give me yours. I'll take yours. I'll buy it from you.
God.
Well, I want one here and in Nashville. Seriously. But see, think about that. So first thing I do when I wake up, right, is I turn it off and it lights up and tell you how long you slept. So I saw 7.5 hours. I was like, oh shoot.
Wow. You got some good sleep.
Right?
Never
make you feel accomplished.
It make you feel confident, right? That it's gonna be a good day, right? Because you got rest, right? So and accomplished, yes. And so I got up. Still, I'm about to go pee, rubbing my eyes and stuff, right? Got my phone in my hand.
Breath funky,
breath
extra funky. Oh,
not
not that I know, I'm
with
just
a
saying.
CPAP, though.
We still got a CPAP.
But then my phone lights up and it's Mayor Paul Young. And apparently I missed a call from him, right? And he says, hey man, Have you heard? So, first of all, when Paul called, I said, okay, we're going to work on a crisis. There's something going on with the city, and, he wants some advice on this. And so he said, have you heard? I said, heard what? I'm rubbing my eyes like this, walking around, right, drawers on, right, like, heard what? And he says, man, Pastor Ricky Floyd passed this morning. Mm. So I sat down in the chair in my living room in my apartment, because I know he did not just say.
Yeah, right. What he said.
I know. Yeah. And I said, what did you just say?
Mm. Yeah, right.
He said, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I have to tell you this, man. And I said, he couldn't even finish it. I was like, wait, what? Mm. And man, talk about a ton of, and it's interesting how the mind plays, right?
Yeah.
My mind was not accepting that.
Certainly.
Mm.
I know I'm hearing what it becomes a surreal space, right?
Yeah.
Almost like an out of body experience, right? Like, I know he didn't just say this.
Yeah.
Right. And I tell you, man, and I had 2 bills in committee, had a day full of people coming, meetings. And, I canceled all the meetings, man. I had to present those bills because we're running out of time. And, man, I'm serious. I almost broke down in front of that committee, those committees, 2 different committees. And trying to get through this, because I had to present these bills, or they're going to be off track and this, that, and other. But, man, talk about an awful day.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I feel the same.
Yeah.
And I had to readjust myself. Because I was I had to ask myself the question, not just how do you handle grief? And in moments like this, I don't even want to take my own advice as a pastor, as a preacher.
Yeah. I didn't even thought about that.
I don't want to take my own advice, but I had to readjust myself. And I had to say, not Chris, how do you handle grief, but how is your faith? How is your faith in God? Do you trust him? Do you believe him? Do you first, as Steve just so eloquently put that, or made a point to say that you have to trust the sovereignty of God. And although that may be painful, he will give you the grace to grapple with grief.
The grace to grapple with grief.
While you're going through what you're going through. He'll give you the grace to do it. And so and that's what we lean on, man, in times like this. It's just our faith, trusting that God knows what's best. We don't like how.
Yeah. How
God knows we don't like when. But we trust him. And we know that he's the sovereign giver of life. And so many of us will say, well, this happened too soon. Why did it happen now?
Come on.
Well, when God says it's time, it don't matter how. We just gotta go.
And he said it a long time ago.
He said that.
He didn't just say it.
Yes.
He said it way before we got here.
Yes.
Here's the beauty, though. Here is the beauty of this situation, right? Pastor Ricky Floyd, now I'm speaking for me personally. Pastor Ricky Floyd knew that Touche loved him.
Certainly.
Because I told him every single time we talked.
Certainly.
He told me the same thing, right? And so he was, I shouldn't say this, but
oh Lord, don't.
We always said we were the last 2 hetero men standing. right. And so sometimes when we say to him, I love you, be like, right. But we were secure in our space, right? In our love for each other and our endearment and our care for each other. And I'm so thankful that this is a situation where I have no regret, right?
Yeah.
In you know where our my last conversation was with him and Steve, right?
Yeah.
And man, I'm telling y'all, if y'all heard that conversation, it would be no regrets.
Yeah, right.
You know, for
Right.
any of us to leave here, because all three of us, I love
Yeah.
you, man, love you, man, love you, man. You know, and we ended that phone call on a happy note.
That's amazing that you say
Man.
That they would say that.
He and I had a brotherly dispute. Of course, we never stopped loving each other.
Right.
Man, that was my brother.
Right.
But we had a brotherly dispute, and whatever, for whatever reason, I'm the baby brother, so you know,
right.
You don't call me, you won't hear from me.
Right.
But man, he was on live one day, and he was, at that time he had shut his Facebook down. And he was like, man, send your number to Sheila's page. He said, because I have to apologize to you.
Yeah.
He was like, I repent to you for whatever I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was something we just got in. It was something stupid.
Right.
You know,
right.
something stupid.
Right. Yeah.
But I got a chance to see him at my brother's Valentine's Day show.
Yeah.
That's the last time I seen him.
And
Angelica was over here shamelessly plugging it the whole time.
Yeah.
I was there. I
seen
seen
y'all
him.
invoice, but go ahead.
We hugged, man. We hugged.
Yeah.
We embraced. We told each other, man, I love you, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Had I known that was the last time, I'd held him a little longer. But you know,
yeah, man.
we got a chance to tell each other that, and we knew it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we knew
without
it.
a shadow of a
It was no secret,
Yeah.
man. We knew it.
Yeah.
You know, from the first time that we connected until then, man.
Yeah.
His family as well.
Yeah.
His children.
Right.
Grandchildren, man. I left my church one Sunday, and I told them, listen, I gotta go. Suddenly, I gotta go because Ricky needed me.
Yeah.
You know, to be there for him when he made the announcement about Christina when she got pregnant.
Yeah. Yes.
And I left my church. I shut it down. I gotta go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And we were just, man, that's how we were. We loved each other.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
And it was real.
Yes.
It was real. So,
Yes, indeed. Look, I wanna you know, end with two things. One, I got to say this, you know, to the matriarch of our community family, Miss Norma Lester. Don't whoop my ass when I come to your house because I forgot to call your name when I was naming off all of the family. So Norma Lester is the matriarch. She is the mama of all of us, right? You know, so there, Norma, I fixed it, right? But this is what I want to leave this show. Want to impress on everyone with this show, right? When they cross your mind, pick up the phone and call them.
Come on.
Pick
Say
up the
that.
phone and call them. Even
Say
if you
that.
ain't got nothing to say, they're crossing your mind for a reason.
Yes, do it.
Right? Your spirit is
Do it.
telling you something. And I do, and I practice that all the time. You know, I didn't want anything, cross my mind, just call them.
Can I ask yours?
Yes.
This won't be the final. He ain't gonna let it be the final. He gotta say that he gotta have the last word. I feel like everything we have to be good stewardships. Would be stewards of what God gives us. You know, people. That's from the cars we drive to the houses we live in to the people that's in our life. You're supposed to steward. Be a good steward over them. You be nice. You be kind. You say, you know, I say I love you because we're on borrowed time. They're not ours anyways. God borrowed them to us. So if y'all learn anything else, they are borrowed. You have a limited time. So just I challenge people to be good stewards.
Amen.
That's mine.
I love it.
Kojak, you want anything before we get out?
Oh man.
Man, Angelica, Kojak ain't say shit the whole show.
He leave him alone. He going through it over there. Leave Kojak alone. Be nice today. We can't pick on this show. Yeah, we being nice today. Next week you're on your own now.
My
Kojak.
prayers to the family, man. My prayers to the family. If you need anything, I'm there. They got my number. So
Chris, thank you for joining us on the show, man.
Yes,
Really appreciate it, man.
awesome.
Thank you for being here. Y'all give it up for Chris Williams in the building.
Yes.
Baby. Hey, still love Dr. Y'all.
He said
listen. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this video, y'all, and make sure you love on your family while they're here. This is all celebration of the life, the love, the legacy of Pastor Ricky Floyd. We'll see you next week.